Welcome to Ouch. Was that a ghost? This podcast may contain graphic material, which some listeners may find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Help me.
Now that we covered that, here's your host, Liss.
Welcome back to Ouch Was That a Ghost? I hope everyone got through the storm safely, if you were subject to the storms. And back again, we have Chris from Twisted Tales. Thank you for coming on, gracing me with your presence. And Chris is going to be telling the story today, giving me a break, so I get to just listen.
Hope we're all kicking ass in life.
Kicking ass and taking names.
That's right. Got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
How was your night? What are you up to?
I just did a few recordings in a row. And I was actually very productive today because I've been snowed in. So I have like 3 bags of clothes for donation. I made meatloaf and I made all the sides with that. I've cleaned, organized a bunch of stuff. So I'm actually pretty proud of myself.
I'm also proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
It's all the crap that you never have time to do. But if you're snowed in, you're like, I can't look at that. I got to do it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Organize my laundry room. I'll take a bow.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Kitty litter, freshly cleaned. Anything else?
Hell yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Worked. Came home. Now I'm podcasting with a friend.
Living the dream. What else could you ask for?
Somebody's dream, anyway.
And you're in Canada. You could probably just order poutine if you want, which I've never gotten to try. You probably can just DoorDash that to your house and it'll be hot.
The old fries and gravy.
I'm so jealous. I want to try that so bad.
Just make it. Just get cheese curds, gravy, fries. You're good. Or like make your own gravy or whatever. It's not hard.
I don't even know where to get cheese curds.
Look online. Or the grocery store.
All right. I just skipped the whole...
Fight somebody if they don't have
that too. Kicking ass and taking cheese curds. I like it.
It's good to fucking do podcasting with you again.
Aw. So I'm sorry for interrupting your story. Now, what were you saying? Charles Brandt.
Charles Brandt. So this dude kind of went apeshit and murdered some people. Nobody could ever figure out the reason as to why he did that. It was looked at by specialists, doctors, all that. And yeah, it's just a crazy little case. So he was born Carl Eric Brandt on February 23rd, 1957, up in Connecticut, United States of America.
Connecticut. That's where they get all the good casinos.
In all Connecticut, eh?
Yep.
Have you been in the casinos up there?
Yeah, I was there. Not last weekend, the weekend before.
What'd you play?
I don't really like gambling that much. Unless I'm playing like a Texas tournament, I'll play. But they have a go-kart thing on the other side of the casino underneath. And that's where I spend my time. Go-kart racing, or I'm in the arcade like a dork.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Gotta enjoy life.
And they have a new Gordon Ramsay restaurant open there, which I didn't get to try because it was already closed, but I do want to go back and try that out. I'm going to get kicked out of his restaurant because I don't eat meat that's not well done. And I feel like if I ask for something well done, he'll be like, can you just leave?
You never know. You gotta give it a try.
Call me a donut or something.
You fucking... Yeah, no.
All right, so
this dude's span of crimes ran amok from January 3rd, 1971. Then, it just chilled for a long time, and then it went on again on September 13th of 2004.
Wait, so he had almost like a 30-year gap of not doing anything? Well, 30 plus years.
That's correct, madam.
That's strange.
Very strange. So he was the second child of Herbert and Lisa Brandt, and he was actually nicknamed Charlie by his friends and people that knew him. And he also had an older sister named Angela, and 2 younger sisters, Jessica and Melanie. Now, his parents were German immigrants. They immigrated to the United States back in the year 1955. And his parents originally had moved to Texas before they ended up moving to Connecticut, where Brandt was born. And the family moved around a lot because of his father's employment. Now, his father worked in the Division International Harvester. What the fuck is that?
Division International Harvester? Like harvesting fruit, vegetables?
Cocaine. I don't know.
Cocaine? That's a choice. What did you say it was? All right, International Harvester, which is the International Harvester Company was an American manufacturer of agricultural and construction equipment, automobiles, commercial trucks, lawn and garden products, household equipment, and more.
This job here actually came with different promotions, certain perks, and all that, right? So the guy was just always busy getting all those perks and everything. Because you got to get perks,
I
right?
feel like you're just making this into a drug case. We'll see if it actually goes there.
No.
He's moving
It's kind of like
cocaine.
me.
He's taking perks. What the hell is happening?
Oh, that's funny. So because of this job and everything, it kind of put a damper on things since the kids were just always uprooted from school and so they always had to leave their friends and then make new ones.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes that could be hard in life, right?
definitely, especially on little kids if you can't form those bonds.
Well, yeah. And then they're just like, okay, you met Jimmy? All right, bye, Jimmy. See ya. And that's it. You never see Jimmy again. Now
Yeah,
you're making new friends. Just a vicious cycle, right?
tis.
But this whole thing affected Charlie just a little bit more than his sister. And even with this demanding job, the father actually worked his way up from a draftsman, project engineer. And he did this pretty fucking well. So good for him.
Okay, Herbert.
Yeah, he's moving on up. To these,
I was thinking it, but I didn't say it.
nothing like climbing that company ladder rung by rung, right?
Absolutely.
So they would always take like little vacations to Florida and all that. They would do this quite frequently as a family. Sometimes it would just be father and son there. They would go for hunting trips. This is where they would hunt small game and all that. Yeah, and some of his friends say like he was just very quiet, very like patient. Now he was also known to love his family. And he was always seen outside with his sisters. Usually he'd be taking care of them. You know, he would ride around with them on his bike and stuff, just have fun. Now, he went through a numerous amount of schools here, like I said, but he did obtain very good grades throughout all this, like the moving and all that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, he kept on par with his studies. And one teacher remembers that, like, he wasn't one to make friends. He had a bit of trouble in that department, I guess. He was more of a loner who actually isolated himself from, like, the other students. Not all the time. I mean, like, he talked to, like, one or two people, but that was about it.
You can't really blame him if he's moving all the time and he's like, why even bother make this attachment if I'm going to move tomorrow?
Well, that's right. You know, maybe he was just unattached with all that, but I mean, he still studied and did his homework and everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
And that's tough because if you go to school, I moved a lot when I was a kid, and every school's curriculum does not line up. Like you can move into one and they're dealing with, I don't know, whatever part of the plan, and the other part already covered that you go to. So you could be missing things or you could be repeating things. And that's good that he kept up with whatever obstacles were thrown at him.
exactly. And in September 1968, the family moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, when Charlie was like 11 years old by now. And things went well for a bit. The father was making good coin. The family had vacations every now and again, right? So, I mean, it was a good time for all. They would have two more daughters. As time went on, it seemed that Charlie had started to exhibit violent tendencies. Uh-oh.
That's not good.
No, this was around the time he was 13 years old. It's like a repeated loss of temper, fighting, wrecking property, causing vandalism, property damage, shit like that. Increased use of drugs and or alcohol. And lastly, you know, saying,
At 13?
yeah, like these are some things that like lead.
Oh, I thought you said that Charlie at 13 was like increased use of drugs or alcohol. I'm like, increased from what? He shouldn't be drinking, period. And he's increasing it?
No. This is just like how to see signs when this is going on. Like this is all the steps towards it.
Yeah, don't they have the triangle, the McDonald triangle?
I don't know what that is. Explain.
It's supposed to be like a test, a serial, not a test, but an indicator for like serial killer children. And it was
Oh,
I know animal cruelty, bedwetting, and there was something else. I have to look it up. Fire setting. So animal cruelty, fire setting, and persistent bedwetting. It's the serial killer triangle. The McDonald triad.
huh. I learned something today.
Wonderful. All right, so he was doing all weird stuff. He wasn't doing drugs.
No, not yet. No,
Right.
no. So let's fast forward to January 3rd, 1971. Charlie and his family had returned to their Fort Wayne residence the previous night. This is following like their annual Christmas vacation that was held up in Ormond Beach, Florida. After the children turned in for the evening, old Herbert was shaving in the bathroom, while Ilsa, who was now 8 months pregnant, was just relaxing, soaking in the bathtub here, reading Time magazine. So yeah, they were just shaving, talking, whatever, right? Little Charlie then abruptly walked into the bathroom, shot his father in the back at point blank range with his father's own 9mm handgun. So that's fucking crazy. So he found that and shot him.
Out of nowhere?
Yeah. So the dad actually kept this in a nightstand drawer.
Mm-mm.
After being shot, the dad just collapsed right there on the floor by the sink that he was shaving at. So by this time, the mother's just screaming, right? She just seen her husband get shot in the back. Now he's on the ground. Charlie then took aim with his gun and shot her multiple times. She died from her injuries, unfortunately. So then Charlie left the bathroom to go do another part of his plan. So as he left, the dad groaned and he laid there a moment there. He was shot, but he wasn't dead. So Charlie then walked into his sister Angela's room, pointed the gun at an attempt to shoot her, but the gun ended up jamming here. It didn't go off. So since it jammed, Angela took this as an opportunity. She started to wrestle the gun away from her brother. Then Charlie began to choke her, and then they scuffled around. So during all this, the sister was just making promises that they get this all figured out in the end, right? Like they're fighting. She's like, no, we'll help you. We'll figure this out, right? So she convinced Charlie to go gather up some blankets for his two younger siblings. And then she ran to a neighbor's to get some help and to kind of get away from him because she was just deathly afraid of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she never said that to him or anything, right? She didn't want him to freak out.
Yeah, because she's trying to keep herself and her two younger siblings alive.
That's right. Now, Charlie ended up getting blankets for the younger sisters and then followed his sister out of the house. And all he could see is her running away. And like he told her not to leave him alone. But she ran ahead. She heard a gunshot. He tried to kill her. So why wouldn't she run? So not long after, Charlie Boy kind of hoofs her in the other direction to the other neighbor's house. Charlie knocked, and then when Buddy answered, Charlie just told him, I shot my mom and dad. And then the cops were called to the scene. By this time, the father, Herbert, was up and about. So he got interviewed by police and everything, and he did make confirmation that it was his own son who had shot him and killed his wife and unborn baby. He then told police, not sure why he did this. It's just a completely unbelievable thing to happen. Fucking pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's strange out of nowhere.
Yeah. Charlie had told his sister Angela that he couldn't remember what he had done moments ago. Angela described her brother as being in a trance-like state, which had actually broken during their struggle, right? So he kind of fucking snapped out of it. So when interviewed by police, Brandt attributed the shootings to a combination of things. Some was related to school. And he stated that everything sort of just snapped in my mind. I felt like I never felt before. And then Brandt started talking about another incident here that took place a few days before the shooting. This is near the end of his family's Florida vacation, which the family dog was shot and killed. It was Charlie that shot him. So he covered this up. And
it's strange because he doesn't have connections with friends, so you figure to rely on the dog having that constant in their life.
But it didn't happen in this situation. But yeah, after fucking around with all the police interviews and all that, Charlie Boy was then arrested, and then he spent some time in county jail. Now, a quick thing I found here too, that Brandt's two younger sisters actually lived under the impression that their mother had been killed in a car accident. So they never knew how she died. That's pretty crazy.
That's such an old back then time. I mean, this is a extreme situation, but I feel like presentation of your family or your status was so important. So a lot of families would brush so many things under the rug, and that's a huge thing to brush under the rug.
Oh, yeah. And because he was actually too young to be tried for murder, the judge actually made him spend 1 year in a psychiatric hospital. Brandt only spent 1 fucking year at this establishment before being released back into society and in the custody of his family back in June of 1972. So he shot and killed his mom, gets 1 year and fucking...
That is no consequence. Zero consequence. 1 year.
Yeah. Now, while he was here, 3 separate psychiatric evaluations went on. And all the doctors and everything failed to determine what actually triggered the shooting. Nobody had any idea, why he just fucking snapped and he just did what he did. I mean, there was no rhyme, no reason for it. good kid, good in school.
They're like, we don't know, but sure, let's release him.
Yeah, here you go, right? Yeah, so like there was no psychiatric disease found in Charlie at all. Like that was their diagnosis. He showed zero signs of underlying psychological stress. And that was their whole thing.
But if he was intelligent, he may have been able to outsmart certain tests if he knew what they were looking for.
That is true. Now, one psychiatrist here, this is R.J. Pants Packpecker.
Packpecker?
Packpecker. Pecker Pie. Hang on. Peter Piper picked a bunch of pickles, fucking peppers. We're just going to put that in. We're going to leave that.
Perfect.
No, it's not perfect. And one psychiatrist here, R.J. Pantsner, he mentioned that Charlie should be watched very closely by his family. And this dude had an office down in Fort Wayne. Now, nobody in the family mentioned anything about this whole thing again, and that's what the father wanted.
And just put him right back with the siblings.
Yep, that's it.
I don't like to judge people. I just find that from the information I have very bizarre to insert him right back with the other children.
After 1 year, and they don't know what's wrong. And then they just relocated up to Ormond Beach, Florida. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away, buddy. They sold the home, the father quit his job, and boom, new life.
That is so disturbing because he already killed one of his siblings.
Yeah, now 1 year later, after moving and everything, Brandt's father, now remarried, and the two younger sisters moved back to Indiana. And Brandt and Angela stayed behind in the care of their grandparents. So then Charlie would finish high school. Now in 1984, Charlie received a degree in electronics and became a radar specialist for Ford Aerospace in Astor, Florida. So he moved to fuck up there.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a good job. He worked hard at it. And in between this, he would meet a woman named Teresa Terry Helfrich. Now, she had owned a retail store up in Daytona Beach. And she was described by friends as a very happy-go-lucky person. Just an all-around good person. So after some time of dating here, the couple ended up tying the knot on August 29th of 1986. No relatives were invited to their wedding, which is a little bit weird. And the two were just inseparable here. They loved each other very much, and they didn't have anybody at their wedding, right? Kind of like a weird little request, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, unless something was going on with the family, that is bizarre.
Yeah. And then the couple built and settled in on a $600,000 beach house on Big Pine Key. This is in 1989 now.
Hey, Charlie.
So a couple years later.
Making that money.
No, yeah, getting a beach house. There you go, boy. Why don't you get a weekend retreat? Why don't you get a timeshare?
I don't like timeshares.
Do it.
You get committed to the one spot, and then you have the maintenance fees, and then if you want to sell it, it's a whole thing. And even if you don't use it, you still have to pay that annual fee.
Well, I don't see any harm, any foul to this at all. I think you should do it. It's a great idea.
I agree to disagree.
I'll get you next episode. Like, Christopher, I have a timeshare now. But yeah, back to it here. Like, everything just seemed to be awesome with these two, right? Like, barely any arguments. They got along great. Neither really saw the other one get angry at anything at all. There were a lot of people that knew Charlie's past and that he killed his mom. That's going to be talked about. Like, friends and family actually tried to get Charlie to tell Terry about this, but he declined, and she actually knew nothing of what he did when he was 13 years old.
Well, that might be the reason why no one was invited to the wedding, because he didn't want anyone to have that time to talk to her.
That could be an idea, too. Now, even Brandt's sister, Angela, actually advised him to tell Terry about the murder of their mother, and all he said was, like, he would actually just take it under advisement. He was like, I'll take your advice. That was it. But there are some times here where he would have bad days. Terry would actually write about these bad days in, like, this daily planner thing, like a diary, I guess. Now, this is back in 1993. She actually writes about, like, his puzzling behavior here. She wrote up about, like, some depressive episodes and, like, some weird talk that he'd ramble on about. Just randomness, I guess. Now, fast forward to September 2nd of 2004. There was a hurricane actually underway in the area now. So this was Hurricane Ivan. And the couple actually lived on one of the spots that was under evacuation. So they secured the house for a bit here. They boarded up the windows. I do believe this whole thing did like $20 billion in damages actually throughout the United States. And it only had about 124 fatalities in total. So lots of damage, less fatalities. Still sucks.
Yeah.
Do you remember Hurricane Ivan?
I do, because I have a lot of family that live in Florida. And I remember just when they didn't answer for a day or two, we'd freak out. But a lot of them got out of that area, the direct area.
Well, that's good. Everybody was okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Minor house damage, but that's it. That's fine. Houses can be replaced. Things can be replaced.
No, that's right. So what happened here is their niece, Michelle Lynn Jones, it's actually the daughter of Terry's sister. She invited them to stay at her residence near Orlando. So, I mean, it was nice for her to get her aunt and uncle out of the place that they were being evacuated from. And Michelle was this successful executive TV person for the Golf Channel. So, not a bad gig. She was 37 years old, so, I mean, Golf Channel was pretty popular. Now, throughout the visit here, Michelle kept in regular contact with her mother, right, Mary Lou, as well as some of her friends. Now, on the evening of September 13th, one of Melissa's friends, Lisa Emmons, she was actually going to come visit her house, but Jones had discouraged her from coming, saying that the Brandts had an argument after having some drinks and all that. So the whole atmosphere just kind of shifted, and that was kind of unfit to have people over. Now the couple was just a little pissed off at each other is all. So it just kind of ruined the whole vibe for the company. No fucking point in people coming over.
Right.
And all Michelle wanted to do by this point was just go to sleep. She was just pissed off, whatever, I'm going to bed. Nobody would hear from them for a few days. So just 2 days later here, on September 15th, none of Michelle's friends or family could actually get in contact with her at all, which was weird. She kept in contact with her mom a lot. Even during the whole visit when, the Brandts were up there and everything, she talked to her mother then, too. Right? So this is weird for her to go 2 days without any communication. So what a friend did is decided to head on over, do a wellness check. So this was Debbie Knight. So she went to the house here to check on everybody. Now, she was on the phone with Jones's mother when she was rolling up, so she had a spare key on the go, but when she went there to try it, the key wasn't working for some reason. So after finding the front door locked, she then tried to enter the house through the back, over by the garage. So once she was there, she looked through the door. This had an all glass door or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here she saw the outline of a person, and it looked like the person was suspended in the air, was hanging from the rafters. And this was actually Charlie. He hung himself using bed sheets in the house. After she found Charlie dead, obviously she called the cops. Upon law enforcement's arrival, they talked to the friend that showed up. Then they entered the house. They found the body of Brandt's wife and their niece. Now, the whole place was locked from the inside, so there was no forced entry, no sign of a struggle. Nothing seemed to be taken in the house. To them, it looked like an inside job. And thus, with 2 people being killed and one having killed himself, authorities quickly determined that Charlie Brandt had killed his wife and niece before committing suicide. On that night, it just looked like Charlie was just frying up some fish for everybody. They were all drinking booze. And police then realized that an argument had happened. And it was most likely a little after this that Charlie went on his little rampage, right? So that's what they were thinking. Terry had been stabbed 7 times in the chest. She was found lying on the couch, and she was killed using the knives that were in Jones's kitchen. And Michelle Jones was found to have been decapitated and disemboweled.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, crazy. And her heart and her organs were removed, and her head was actually placed next to her body.
No indication as to why?
There was no indication as to why he walked in and fucking shot his dad. Killed his mom. Maybe fucking liquor had probably something to do with it, I would imagine.
I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, but he definitely had some undiagnosed issues going on.
Well, I mean, try to be diagnosed with this craziness back in the 70s, I'm sure they missed 1 or 2 things, right?
Yeah.
Now, the tale goes that before he removed her organs, he carefully put her blood-soaked clothes in the bathroom sink before dismembering her. This gruesome scene actually fucked with police too. It was just a horrific sight. Now, some of the cops that were there went to the front yard, threw up. These were seasoned officers too, had years under their belts, all that, right?
Yeah, but there's certain scenes, it doesn't matter how long you're on the job, if you walk into those, they're going to affect you.
Well, yeah, you're going to remember that for a long time, right? Well, even this chief investigator dude here, he said, in my 26 years, I've never seen anything like this. let's get a little bit more detailed on this case here. Terry had been stabbed, like I said. Thing is here that, something actually stuck out to investigators. It was noticed that Charlie had used so much force in stabbing her that it actually penetrated the couch on the other side of her.
That's definitely a lot of rage.
Yeah. Now, Michelle was in her bedroom, as I said. Her head was cut off. He cut off one arm, removed both of her breasts, and it looked like he was halfway in the process of actually cutting off one leg as well. And then her heart was cut out too. Police actually needed dental records to identify her body. And there are some here that actually say that she was sexually violated as well. Now, it was also found out that Charlie had taken a shower. He got into some clean clothes, then entered the garage, put a stool between the cars, and then he used the rafters to tie the bed sheets that he took together. And he hung himself, and he left no note or any explanation as to why he did any of this. So that's fucking insane. What do you think about this?
The only thing I think is it's very, very strange that from his mother to then his niece and his mother and his sister or brother, and then to his wife and his niece, 30 years. I find it very hard to believe that he didn't do anything else in those 30 years. Because if you're going to have violent outbursts, I'm not saying that they're on a clock, but it's very unlikely that nothing else happened in that time.
Well, I mean, there's probably some shit that went down, right? That he wasn't caught for or whatever. And by now, old Charlie Boy's family heard about the crime. And Angela, his sister, actually finally made the decision to tell police about what Charlie did back in '71. So that way maybe that this case would start making some sort of sense. So she talked to investigators alone, and she spoke up about Charlie's, like you said, 30 years old by now, right? Give or take.
30 plus years.
Yeah. And following the search of Brandt's residence here, it was revealed that he was a monthly subscriber to Victoria's Secret catalogs. So he liked the old Victoria's Secret. Maybe he didn't know what her secret was.
You know the secret about Victoria?
Yeah.
Victoria's a man. A female doesn't own that company.
No, I wouldn't say. Fucking like bras and shit.
Yeah, bra, underwear. They have sweatshirt, clothes, because they also have Pink, which is like at the Victoria's Secret store. There's like a little off branch, and they have a lot of clothes and stuff there too, and perfume, lip balm.
Oh, really? Have you bought things from there?
I spend a lot of money there. Too much money.
Oh, see? There you go. Look, you have an addiction. You're also a gambler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm addicted to the go-karts at the bottom of Foxwoods.
Did you win any races?
I did, but my son's like so much better than me at it. He has like the F1 setup in his room, so he practices all the time. So he takes corners better than me. So if I race him, I usually lose. We'll come in second.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm really curious in this case if they looked around the time. I know that you're talking about the Victoria's Secret magazine, but if they looked around that area about either missing or murders that were unsolved.
Yeah, I wonder. That could be a good little thing to talk about as well. I'll get into that as well. I have a little bit of stuff on that too.
Oh, all right.
Plus, like during the search and everything here, they found an extensive collection of surgery-themed books, posters, and a bunch of clippings here, like operations and stuff.
Posters?
And, yeah.
That's weird. I could see books having an interest or having like to take an anatomy class or something, but having posters and he works in engineering is very strange.
Well, maybe he took them off the walls or something, right? Like you see shit at hospitals or something. Maybe he just took some stuff. You know, like those doctors' fucking posters and stuff.
Okay. So he has like a fascination with anatomy?
Yeah, and he also had this big picture of how heart works posted on the wall, too.
Oh, weirdo.
Yeah, no. Plus, like another weird thing here, they also found out that he had a nickname for Michelle, and that he actually called her Victoria's Secret, which is fucking weird. And friends also mentioned that he was just very like quiet and reserved. Like nobody thought that he would do this, but I mean, people already knew that he did this before, right? Just fucking sit back and observe shit. Others say he was a good guy, you know, a little bit eccentric and stuff, but he would just like kind of just chill, observe everything, right? You know, talk to people and stuff. Normal guy. As the case went on, police heard through the grapevine here that Charlie might have actually committed other murders. Liss, Uh-oh. And one actually happened when his wife was still alive. Now, police actually determined that Brandt's murder of Jones indicated, past experience, the way, he cut up the body and everything. Plus, because he traveled often due to his job and everything, police checked out, all these cold cases in Florida that actually matched, the MO and all that,
Mm.
and tried to figure out if he killed anybody else while he was traveling for work. So, tale goes, a woman's body was found. This is on July 16th of 1989. She was partially clothed. This is the body of one Sherry Parasho. She was a 38-year-old female. She was discovered floating near the Big Pines Key North Pine Channel Bridge. Parasho's throat had been slashed to the point of near decapitation, and it was just brutal. Her head was literally halfway off her body.
Speculation, of course, but if he was practicing on her or trying to do it and then he just got better on his knees, you can see his evolution throughout. So who knows how many more people he may have, again, allegedly, because I don't know. No, he probably definitely did a lot more than what he was charged for. It's hard to believe that that was it.
Oh yeah. Plus another thing here, her body was extensively mutilated too, and her heart was removed, almost as done by an actual surgeon. So he was getting better. Plus the body was actually found less than 1,000 feet from Brandt's beach house, so it wasn't very far away at all either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when police questioned people around the neighborhood about her, people remembered seeing a man nearby that night too. The man was actually seen crossing US Route 1 near the murder scene. And even his wife Terry actually gave a statement to the cops here, and she told her brother-in-law about some shit. Terry mentioned to the police and her brother-in-law that she had suspected Brandt in that 1989 killing of Sherry. Now, she stated that Brandt actually came home with blood on his shirt that night, which he claimed was from filleting fish, and that was pretty much it. Terry actually kept journals on days that Charlie got emotional and everything too, right? Like I said. And yeah, she actually showed police some of these, kind of give them a little bit more insight on who he was, how he was.
That's so frustrating because if all of his information had been shared, maybe some of these lives could have been saved.
Exactly. Dr. Phil even said that on a fucking thing
Oh,
I
did he?
watched on this. That's funny. So actually, based on all this evidence here, Terry's reported statements and stuff, Monroe County investigators determined that Brandt killed Sherry, and they officially closed the case on May 6, 2006. Police started to reinvestigate unsolved murders in Florida dating back to 1973 for potential evidence of Brandt's involvement. And there were actually three that checked out. Now, they were 1978. There was Carol Lynn Sullivan. She was 12 years old.
12?
She was last seen at 6:50 a.m. Now, Sullivan was abducted from a school bus stop in Volusia County on September 20th, 1978 in Deltona. And her skull was found in a paint can. So this was leading authorities to presume she was murdered and decapitated.
Gosh, a baby.
Yeah. Now, the skull here was found 12 days later, less than 2 miles away. The flesh was gone off it, and there was nothing there but this small patch of hair. And this was located sitting in the tall grass on a slope near a pond in the area of Doyle Road and Saxon Boulevard. This is farther west in Deltona, actually. And the rest of her bones and all that, they were never recovered. Now, the head was actually discovered by 19-year-old Bob Gorman, who was exploring the area in the vicinity of his parents' future home. So he walked over, he seen the can, then the skull, and then all the fire ants that were crawling all over it too. So he set it down, he ran to his car, then he drove to the nearest convenience store and then called the sheriff's office from there, and that's how they found her. Now, at the time, Brandt was 21, and he lived in Volusia County at the time, actually. But he couldn't be tied to the crime in any other way than that. And even today, there's actually no link to Brandt and Sullivan at all. So just something to think about. And then in 1988, there's Lisa Sanders, age 20. So Sanders was beaten and dragged from her car in Big Pine Key. And this is back in December. Her heart was missing when she was found, but it's unclear if it was extracted by the attacker or eaten by vultures or anything like that. Again, the last one here. This is 1995. This will be Darlene Toller. She was 38. Toller was from Miami, whose body was missing her head, her heart, and it was discovered dumped in a grassy area near a highway. Brandt actually used that same highway regularly, so he kept mileage record of all his travels. It's actually shown an entry for 100 miles. On the day of her murder, roughly the whole driving distance between Big Pine Key and the area of Miami where Toller's body was found. Even aside from the 1989 Parachute murder and all that, there wasn't enough evidence to conclusively link him to the 3 other crimes. So, unfortunately, that sucks. It just seems that the women seem to and suffer the same way that the other women have too. But it was just something they couldn't prove. But the ones that he was linked to were just fucking brutal, and he was now dead by suicide. So he could no longer hurt anybody anymore. Nobody really knew why he did any of this. He's actually suspected, like you said, in more murders, but police are still trying to link him to those. Police actually suspect him in 30 plus murders. And when things actually slowed down after all this here, the family actually noticed that the father, Herbert, never said a word to anybody about his son's crimes. He never even apologized. But, maybe he just wanted to keep quiet about everything, right? Who knows? And it just sucks. All these people lost their lives, and the one that did it escaped any kind of repercussions or anything because he hung himself.
He never really faced consequences, it seemed, in his life for the killing as a child. What was that, psychiatric for a year? But it's weird that when he was older, if he was in that, what did you say, an aeronautic company, that he could get that clearance having that background, that he passed that background check. And one other thing you said before, how he had the bloody clothes in the sink already. I wonder, again, speculation, if he planned on killing his niece to get away with it, but then his wife walked in on it, and that might have been the anger, because he didn't do to his wife what he did to his niece. Again, I don't know enough about this case to really, but it just seems like it's a possibility. It sucks back then because you want to blame law enforcement for not doing that, but they didn't have the same technology as they do now. They'd have to pick up a phone and notice a pattern and, you know what I mean? Manually search would take forever because interdepartmental things just weren't really a thing back then. So it's sad that so many people died just from, I don't want to call them mistakes, but just oversights by, law enforcement and just keeping that a secret. What is the point of that? Why? What was that? Who was that benefiting?
Nobody.
But a murderer.
Yeah, exactly. And even when he was told he should tell, he was nah, just brushed it off kind of thing, right?
Has her family ever said they must have said something that they were upset about that?
But I believe his sister came out and told people and stuff like that.
His wife, his wife's family must have been very upset when they found out about Charlie's past.
Yeah, there were a few people that were upset there. You should watch the Dr. Phil episode on this on YouTube there.
Oh, I definitely will.
No, it's pretty fucking good. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, please do.
Dr. Phil.
That's a crazy case. It's just it's a tragic case that at some points could have been avoidable. May have been avoidable.
Well, think about if he just hung himself, and didn't kill any of these people. He just did all this shit beforehand and spared their lives, That would have been a better fucking outcome.
Yeah, that's a crazy case, though. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Insanity.
Always is. Fuckery, buddy.
Fuckery.
That's correct.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on.
You're awesome. And we will pod again sometime in the near century. I hope you enjoyed my tale.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And I hope everyone stays safe. And if you see something, say something. Till next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Bye, buddy.
If you need more content or just want to help support the podcast, head on over to patreon.com and search Ouch, Was That a Ghost? If you need some schnazzy merch, you can find it at crowdmade.com by searching Ouch, Was That a Ghost? If you have a story you'd like to share, you can email it to ouchwasthataghost@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and all the other social media platforms under Ouch, Was That a Ghost?
Help me.
All links can also be found on ouchwasthataghost.com.